Thousands of Armenians gathered today to march for justice. See what unites this community every year.
Midterm elections are quickly approaching, and we have one candidate for U.S. Senate joining us live in studio to discuss his views on immigration.
And LA workers say they are being discriminated against. We'll show you how a bill can help them in their fight for equality.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
As long as geopolitics swallows the truth, we must say it even louder.
Thousands marched to the Turkish consulate on Wilshire Boulevard honoring the 1.5 million Armenians killed more than 100 years ago. For over a century, Turkey has resisted widespread calls for it to recognize the killing of Armenian people as a genocide. Good evening, I'm Hamda Salhout.
And I'm Tommy Brooksbank. Years later, it is still illegal in Turkey to use or refer to the term Armenian genocide.
We're here not only to remember our ancestors, but to also show the world that this actually happened, for everyone to recognize the Armenian genocide.
It's very important for us to be recognized to prevent future generation genocides.
Many of the marchers came to protest the Turkish government's denial that the genocide ever occurred. But key California politicians came out in support of the Armenian community.
The United States has never prospered by being complicit in another country's campaign of denial, and we never will. And so I am proud to join you today, proud to stand by your side, proud to march with you, proud to say never again, proud to say we will never forget, proud to say the cause of justice lives on.
Although many world leaders do not recognize the death as a genocide, Governor Jerry Brown has declared today a remembrance of the tragic event. And Secretary of Housing and Urban Development Ben Carson visited Skid Row today to discuss efforts to reduce homelessness. But as Annenberg Media's Cole Sullivan reports, those efforts don't include new federal funding.
Denise Smith had a high-profile guest on Skid Row today.
I was proud of myself because I was open.
An open conversation with the head of the Department of Housing and Urban Development, Dr. Ben Carson.
You're going to suffer the consequences, but you can get up. At one time, I could have been seeing you on the streets asking you for change to buy crack. But not no more. Look at me today.
She credits her recovery to help from the Downtown Women's Center that Carson toured this afternoon. But Secretary Carson's visit to the Downtown Women's Center today didn't come with any more department funding, and he shied away from saying that federal money was on its way to Skid Row.
I've never yet come across anyone who said, that's enough, please don't give us any more. So I don't expect ever to hear that.
But he says staying mindful of the federal deficit is important when it comes to funding programs to reduce homelessness.
Not saying that we shouldn't take care of people, but we're going to have to start thinking in more creative ways for how we need to do it.
And one of the challenges with HUD is that their budget has been under attack and shrinking.
Gary Painter leads a brand new USC-based institute aiming to come up with creative ideas to get funding from Carson's department.
We feel like because we have a broad-based research community, we'll be more effective at competing for those federal dollars.
Money for organizations that help people like Denise Smith.
My God, it's very important because there's a lot of women will be dead. I'm serious.
A serious problem with no easy solution in sight. For Annenberg Media, I'm Cole Sullivan.
Thanks for that report, Cole. Kevin De Leon was the most powerful person in the California Senate until his term ended last month. Now he wants to serve in the U.S. Senate and replace longtime Senator Dianne Feinstein. De Leon represents the 24th Senate District, which includes downtown and East LA. He served 4 years in the state Senate and authored SB 54, a bill that restricts law enforcement from helping the federal government enforce immigration violations. Senator De Leon, thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, Hamda.
Good. So throughout your career, you've advocated for immigrant rights, and especially in California. Later today, a federal judge actually ordered DACA to be reinstated because it was, quote, arbitrary. Can you tell us a little bit about your reaction to this decision?
Well, I can tell you this, that I'm not shocked that a U.S. federal judge who was appointed by George W. Bush actually stated today that the President and the Department of Justice, Jeff Sessions, have not explained carefully to the American people why we should rescind in DACA altogether. So I'm not shocked. When he moved forward with the Muslim ban, a federal judge threw that out as well. The state senate that I used to lead, we filed an amicus brief with the federal court to prevent the Department of Justice from withholding back grant dollars from local police departments because of sanctuary state cities. A court, a judge, federal court threw that out as well too. So I'm not shocked at all whatsoever from this federal judge's decision.
Thanks. So do you think the funding of about $30 million for 250,000 DACA students, including those at USC, is at risk of being cut?
Well, the reality is this. We have a president who's had these young DACA and DREAMer students throughout the country. And California is home to the largest number of DREAMer and DACA students in the nation. There's no question about it. They are under threat. That's why, through my leadership in Sacramento, we have moved forward with a budget that provides $40 million for legal aid to these young DACA and DREAMer students. It's my hope that the president will reverse his decision, but he's proven to date that he's untrustworthy.
So you also authored the state sanctuary bill, which prohibits agencies like ICE from asking people about their immigration status. With this current presidential administration, do you think this bill is at risk?
Well, the bill's not at risk at all whatsoever. It's the law of the land of the state of California. Regardless of what the administration does today, they, through Jeff Sessions' Department of Justice, have come out to California to sue the state of California because they believe it's unconstitutional. I got a very clear message to Donald Trump and Jeff Sessions and the White House. This is a measure that I wrote. This is a measure that's constitutional. This is a measure that I wrote because I want to do everything within my power to protect the hardworking people, young men and women, children of the state of California. So we will countersue them in a court of law, and I like my odds. I don't like the Department of Justice odds. I feel good about this, and I wrote this with the former Attorney General of the United States of America, Eric Holder. Therefore, I feel supremely confident that a federal judge is going to find our measure constitutional, unlike Donald Trump's rhetoric.
So you are running for the U.S. Senate seat, but Senator Feinstein has been in the seat for about 25 years. Why should Californians, especially young voters here at USC, vote for you?
I think it's time for a change. I think it's time that voters in California have a new progressive voice in Washington that advocates for issues that we care deeply about, whether it's climate change, whether it's the environment, whether it's immigration reform, whether it's college debt, education. So many students right now are graduating with a pile of debt that they're saddled with, and they can't get a good high wage paying job to get rid of that debt. The reality is this, is that we need to spend much more money, invest much more money in the federal budget when it comes to higher education, when it comes to an institution, a fine institution like USC, Stanford, UCLA, Loyola Marymount, Occidental College. We have young men and women who are, quite frankly, the future and the present of this great state, and we have to invest a lot more money. It's time to have a different voice in Washington representing our interests.
Senator DeLeon, thank you so much for your time. Tommy, back to you.
All right, thanks, Hamda. Today, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that foreign corporations cannot be sued in American courts for human rights violations. But our political anchor, Nyanika Kapoor, has more. Nyanika?
Thanks, Tommy. Today, in a 5-4 decision, the Supreme Court ruled that a law written more than 200 years ago does not allow people to sue foreign corporations in U.S. courts. The case arose when victims of terrorist attacks in Palestine wanted to sue a Jordan-based bank for allegedly funding the attacks. The Alien Tort Statute was written in 1789. It protects foreign citizens when international laws are broken and allows them to sue in U.S. courts when they have no other options. Courts have used this statute in cases of torture, genocide, and war crimes. Here's why some disagree with today's decision.
I was not very surprised, given the conservative majority on the Supreme Court. I think that the court was overly broad in its ruling. It could have rejected this particular claim without completely shutting the door on any kind of human rights claim.
I do think that from a human rights perspective, it's definitely concerning, especially because some of these cases can't even be tried in international courts. While I definitely do support business and in the United States and international business growing to the United States, I think it's concerning that we're seeing them get away with a little too much.
In the majority opinion, Justice Kennedy said that these issues should be handled by the president and not Congress, and not the courts. Back to you, Hamda.
Thanks for that report, Nyanika. Dozens of LA workers are fighting against discrimination in the workplace. Annenberg Media's Anissa Claiborne shows us how they hope to create change.
Today, activists gathered at Biddy Madison Park in downtown LA to rally in support of Senate Bill 491. It would enforce employment discrimination laws at the local level.
We need local enforcement now in Los Angeles. The system that we have in place is not showing any relief to the black workers.
One man says he has faced discrimination in many cities, but in Los Angeles, it is worse.
I couldn't believe what was going on here. This was just it blew me away. Because my situation is in LA and I had to file to Sacramento and I got to wait months. And I think if they would let the city handle discrimination issues within the city, it would help.
The director of California's Department of Fair Employment and Housing says they are in support of the bill and look forward to protecting California workers.
Just that as the state civil rights agency, we know that our true partners are folks on the ground who are working and living the realities of California workplaces. And so everything that we do, we want to do hand in hand with people who are both being protected by our laws.
On October 14th of 2017, Governor Jerry Brown sent back the Senate bill without his signature. He also included this letter requesting that the Department of Fair Employment and Housing create an advisory group to explore provisions and prepare a report by December of 2018.
The city needs to be ready to protect workers' employment, civil rights in the workplace.
The bill is expected to be back on the governor's desk at the end of the year. For Annenberg Media, I'm Anissa Claiborne.
The USC administration addressed mental health resources on campus today.
Also, a new LGBT wellness center opens in downtown. We'll take you there.
And residents in one local community are rallying against the dirty water that's coming out of their tap.
Guess what? I have some news for you. There's free food right there, junk food. You see that truck? Oh, jeez. It's a 2 Michelin star chef. All for free, ladies and gentlemen. All for free.
Here we have a panzanella with summer vegetables and pesto. Enjoy. How we doing?
Fantastic. So what do you got going on underneath that plate there?
This food is really about to be thrown away.
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with this food? Where did you get it from?
From farmers markets. They put aside the ugly vegetables and the ugly fruits.
Carrot top, soft avocados. It was all food that was going to be discarded.
Even the drink you had is made from like a little bruised peach. Did it taste a little bruised?
It was good.
The average person throws away 24 pounds of food a month.
That's a lot.
Isn't that a lot? Go visit savethefood.com for more information. Thank you. Junk food time!
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow?
No.
Snow-covered trees.
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones.
Don't even.
And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
USC Provost Michael Quick sent students a letter detailing new mental health and wellness services the school will offer on campus. The new pilot program is meant to help students live a healthier lifestyle. 4 new mental health counselors are set to join the USC staff in the fall.
Downtown LA is home to the newest trans wellness center offering support for transgender and non-binary individuals.
This is significant to me because it represents sort of a shift in the conversation, and I think it represents to the world at large that no longer is the trans community willing to take crumbs from under the table anymore. We are making our own table and making our own way and providing the necessary support for our community that is done within our own community.
The center has over 600 employees providing services for more LGBT people than any other organization in the world. The new Trans Wellness Center in Koreatown opened its doors with the support of 6 local organizations. The center will provide hormone therapy and pre- and post-surgical care. The facility will also administer trans-sensitive pap smears and pelvic and prostate exams. Well, Hamda, it was such a nice sunny day today. I'm really hoping the weather's here to stay.
You know what, Tommy? I am too. Let's toss it over to our weather anchor, Paula Alonze, for more. Paula.
Thanks, Hamda.
Today is a pretty standard day in Los Angeles. In fact, it falls right into the average for the month of April, which is 73, which that was the high for today, but it's currently sitting at 65 with high humidity at 63. So at least it'll keep the air feeling a little warmer. We have a wide range of temperatures throughout the region. Let's take a look at that for tomorrow. In San Bernardino, it'll be 83, as well as in Riverside, just a little cooler at 82, and then much hotter in Palm Springs at 96. In the Thousand Oaks area, we'll see that it's going to be 80 degrees tomorrow, and then a 20-degree difference in 61 in Malibu, so that's going to be pretty chilly. Over in the USC area tomorrow, we'll see that it's going to be 73, and then 64 at LAX, so also bring a coat if you're traveling. For the 5-day forecast, things maintain consistent throughout the week with the low 70s for the highs and then the low 50s for the lows, so pretty much spring weather, as we can say. I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to the summer.
Yeah, looks like we have great weather for the last week of classes.
Absolutely, getting ready for exams.
Definitely. Thanks, Paula. Hamda, over to you.
Thanks, Tommy. Residents in the Compton and Willowbrook areas are furious about dirty tap water in their homes. Annenberg Media's Max Goldwasser shows us why people are so frustrated.
We want clean water. That's what residents in Compton and Willowbrook made clear today. More than 50 people showed up at the Sativa County Water District to make their voices heard.
We're not able to shower with this water. We're not able to cook with this water. We're not able to drink this water. We have kids, and this is just harming them.
Here's the water that Genevieve Camargo is referring to. It is visibly dirty and has a reddish tint. A spokesperson for Sativa says the water problems are a result of years of sediment buildup.
It's unacceptable, to have a water that is aesthetically not pleasing is something that nobody wants and nobody deserves.
Garza says the water has been tested and does not pose a health threat. He says the 1,600 people in this area are safe to drink the water, but even he has concerns.
The standard says that it's fine to drink. I wouldn't drink it. I don't think you would drink it. I don't think anybody would drink it.
Some residents say the Sativa Water District recently gave them Red Be Gone to help solve the issue. It's a chemical that removes rust and iron stains, and once you add it to the water, you can see that it definitely makes the water a little bit clearer, but now there's just even more chemicals in it than before, and it smells really bad.
Plus, the bottle itself says harmful if swallowed. Garza says the district will be implementing a flushing program over the next few months to help eliminate the dirty water. Typically, water pipes get flushed out about 4 times a year, but in this area, Garza says the pipes haven't been cleaned in 70 years. For Annenberg Media, I'm Max Goldwasser.
All right, Hamda, are you going to the baseball game tonight?
No, I'm not, but I have a feeling Jody is.
Of course I'm going. What else would I be doing on a Tuesday night after the show, guys? And I can tell you that it'll be prime for USC to pick up that win tonight against Long Beach State. And with this near hole-in-one, junior Justin Suh is leading the charge in the Pac-12 championships for men's golf. And women's water polo has their eyes set on success in the postseason. All that and more because sports are next.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
Did you know parking over tall, dry grass can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
The USC men's golf team, led by #1 collegiate golfer Justin Suh, is in the middle of the Pac-12 championships at Rolling Hills Country Club, and our reporter Sam Scalbania has been following the team.
At the end of round 3 of the Pac-12 championships here at Rolling Hills Country Club, USC finds itself in first place with a 5-stroke lead over second place Arizona State. USC's junior phenom Justin Suh had the low round of the day and has a 6-strot lead over the field. I got to speak with him after his round.
Kind of going well for the whole tournament. I think the driver's been good, and the approach shots, like, because we worked on those numbers so much between 90 and 150, those were comfortable. Coming to the event, we knew those numbers are going to be the crucial ones, and I think it's all paid off.
Led by Suh, the Trojans will look to wrap up its first team title and individual title for Suh since 2011 in tomorrow's final round. Now staying on the green, the number 4 women's golf team wrapped up a second-place finish in the Pac-12 championships, 8 strokes behind UCLA after shooting 5 over par today. Now USC has its eyes set on the NCAA regionals on May 7th. And splashing into the pool, senior utility Haley McKelvey has been a dependable defensive player this season. But against UCLA, the senior broke out for a career-high 5 goals in the 11-5 win, enough for her first MPSF Player of the Week honor.
Definitely focusing on the top teams of MPSF, just looking into what we have been doing differently and how we have been playing better these last few weeks, and just focusing on what we can improve from there. Obviously, our ultimate goal is to win that national championship, so just be one more step closer.
Up next, the women of Troy are off to Berkeley for the MPSF tournament. They have a bye in the first round, but will face either UCLA or Arizona State in the semifinal. Now, another Tuesday means another midweek matchup for the USC baseball team. Our sports correspondent Angel Viscara is out at Dadow Field, where tonight the Trojans are hosting Long Beach State. Angel?
Thanks, Jody. Well, at 18-18 overall in this season so far, USC baseball has a chance tonight against Long Beach State to take a lead past their 500 mark on the season. They'd be 19-18 if they picked up the win tonight. But right now, USC is looking still to bounce back from what was a tough conference series this past weekend in Westwood against UCLA. The Trojans dropped all 3 of their games against the Bruins by a total score of 42-6 runs, so certainly a tough weekend out in Westwood for USC. But during that series, USC additionally, also their pitchers racked up a 10.29 ERA, and at the plate they were not much better as they hit 195 throughout the entire series. But things looking well certainly for USC thus far in tonight's game. You see behind me the game is already into the top of the second inning, still a scoreless affair. Freshman left-hander John Beller fired a clean inning of work in the first for USC. And Jody, with only 17 games remaining in the season, tonight's matchup against Long Beach State certainly could be the turning point for the Trojans this season. So that's all I have from Dadow, Jody. USC is on the field right now behind me. We're sending it back to you in the studio at Annenberg.
Thanks, Angel. Now diving onto the sand, the number 5 women of Troy look to defend their back-to-back Pac-12 titles in Stanford this weekend. The Trojans are the number 2 seed, and Coach Collier believes that they have what it takes for a three-peat.
We have really good teams, and we haven't been competing as well as we've been practicing. So we've been kind of working on that. Let's compete the way we practice. And if we can do that, I think we'll be in the finals and have a good opportunity to perhaps take the number 1 team in the nation down.
Before they can face top-ranked UCLA, the Trojans will face Arizona State. USC's Court 1 pair, April Bustamante and Tina Gordina, lead the team with a 24-1 record. All-time, USC is 8-1 in the Pac-12 tournament. They suffered a semifinal loss to UCLA last year before fighting back to claim revenge over the Bruins in the finals. Now heading to the tennis courts, senior Gabby Smith was named the 2018 Pac-12 Women's Tennis Scholar Athlete of the Year. The co-captain is an accounting major with a 3.493 cumulative GPA. She plans to attend BYU's Accountancy Tax Master's program after graduation, which she's received USC's Pac-12 Postgraduate Scholarship. She's an ITA doubles All-American and ranked in the top 50 in singles this year. Smith and her teammates begin the Pac-12 championships tomorrow against Arizona. Hamda and Tommy, back to you.
Thanks, Jody.
Thanks, Jody.
Coming up next, we'll take a trip down memory lane to check out this year's highlights.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation.
America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
迷惑ボーイ。
ここはなんとかしなくちゃ。
スーパーカインドの交通機関案内。
When you ride on the bus or rail, don't eat popcorn, meat, or kale. Food can smell and it makes a mess. Keep LA Metro clean and fresh. Come along with me, let's go. It's time to ride on the Metro. When eating food causes problems, you know Superkind will be there to solve them. Come along with me, let's go. It's time to ride on the Metro. When eating food causes problems, you know Superkind will be there to solve them.
It's our last Tuesday show of the semester, so let's take a look back at some memorable moments over the past few months.
Hundreds of USC students gathered here tonight to listen to former White House Communications Director Anthony Scaramucci. You're going to hit me, I'm going to hit you back.
Students and California residents here are getting into their seats as the gubernatorial debate is just about to start.
When you get out of school, are you going to be able to afford an apartment or even a house in the state of California? That's just the beginning.
There's widespread anxiety among international students from the challenge of finding a job.
Now the t-shirts behind me detail the experiences of sexual assault survivors.
This offers a way for them to tell their story while still maintaining their anonymity.
Students and adults are among the confirmed deaths at a high school in Parkland, Florida.
A lot of us were scared. Everyone was worrying what was going to happen.
It was a frantic scene at a Westlake District middle school this morning after a gun went off in a classroom.
One student, critical but stable 15-year-old boy, sustained a gunshot wound to the head.
For the first time tonight, we have details of the warning signs leading up to the killing.
David Jonathan Brown was charged with murder and found not guilty by reason of insanity. But an Annenberg Media special investigation has uncovered warning signs more than a year before the crime that Brown might do something like this to Bosco Jean.
This is the spot where Pedro Reyes, a street vendor, was beaten and then robbed only 10 days ago.
Now the businesses in the areas can oppose the location of these street vendors.
Custodians at USC marched on campus today to demand better wages from their employer, Aramark.
The numbers here show just how widespread these demands are. This line stretched from Tommy Trojan all the way down Truesdale Parkway.
Tonight's approaching SoCal storm is leaving residents of Santa Barbara in danger yet again.
The expected downpour will bring us the most rain we've had since the January storm that triggered Montecito's deadly mudslides.
Those talents of the strong legs, quick strides really translate over to bobsled.
The USC women's beach volleyball team, currently ranked 4th in the nation, is taking on Pepperdine.
This is the second time USC women's basketball is playing UCLA in just 4 days.
Bring a card, bring some candy, bring a hug, and come and appreciate these Yellow Jacket officers.
I am so excited because I finally got my Mardi Gras beads.
I will tell you, as soon as we came in, we were handed this, a huge plate of marijuana. Clearly, there's a lot of excitement here.
Thanks for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone here at Annenberg Media, I'm Veronica Corningstone.
And I'm Ron Burgundy. You stay classy, SC.